Hey, I'm Taylor Dorsett, and this is the Professional Technical Interviewee. Technical interviews are hard, and every company does them differently. On this show, I interview engineering leaders to see what they look for in technical candidates, and then they perform a real technical interview with me. My guest today is Cornelius Jemison. He is currently a principal data engineer at Coyote Logistics and works as a consultant for the Washington Post. We talk about the importance of networking, what he is looking for during technical interviews, and advice for engineers who are looking for their next job.
Great. Well, welcome back, Cornelius. Let's move into the technical portion. Ball's in your court. I'm at your mercy.
Okay. Let's try to keep this one simple. I like you to write a function or method in your language of choice that can determine if a string is a palindrome.
Okay. Great. Let me hide these meetings. Okay. You can see my VS Code here.
Sure.
Great. So write a function. Function that can test if a string is a. I never remember how to spell
Palindrome.
Palindrome.
Palandrome. Palindrome. I think. Let me look. Let's make sure.
Whenever I'm in interviews, I always tell people, "You'll see me misspell words."
Yeah, it's Palind. I spelled it with an A in the middle.
There we go.
Yeah,
I tell people, you'll see me misspell words, and you'll be like, "Shouldn't you know how to spell that?" And the answer is yes, but I don't. I was homeschooled, and my mother did not put a lot of emphasis on that one, so I give her the blame. Okay. Oops. So
JavaScript?
Yes, JavaScript, if that works for you. Okay, equals function. Just to set this up, we're going to insert a strings. All right. Input string. Make sure I got my casing correctly here. And then palindrome checker. Well, we'll pass in our function. So my first questions would be, I can assume we're always going to be passing in a string.
Any character counts.
Okay, great. And so it could be numbers as well, or will only be letters?
Numbers and letters.
Numbers and letters. Okay, great. Numbers and letters can be passed in. Can I assume it will always have something in it, or could there be an empty string?
No empty strings.
Okay, no empty strings. Great. So let's see, an example input would be
1, 2, 3, and 3, 2, 1.
Race card, great.
It's spelled the same way. Yeah.
Yes, 1, 2, 3. So our output. Assuming would you like me to return the?
Say yes or no.
Say yes or no. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 would be false.
Right.
Output for race car would be
true. True.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And I'm trying to think of an example that has characters and numbers in it. I don't know if I've done that before, but I guess R1R, right, should be true.
Yep, that should be true.
Okay. Great. Okay, so we can have strings or letters. We'll pass true or false. So I've done this before. I've done it in, I think, 2 different ways. One where I've used recursion, which is not my strong suit, but I know there's a way to use recursion in dynamic programming to make this work well. And actually, it's fairly straightforward. I just don't know if I can remember the specific syntax to do that now. Then I also have done this where basically I've kind of got 2 pointers, right, and working its way in. Do you have a preference of the two?
Admittedly, I would probably do the 2 pointers.
Okay.
I could probably think of later how to do it recursively, but the 2 pointers sounds good to me.
Great. Great. So let's add race car would be our first call here. Let's see what 2 more we would expect to get. 1, 2, 3. We'd expect false, and then R1 R. So
So, do you want me to talk you through it, or do you think you got it?
I think I've got it. I'm just making sure I've got the inputs. I think will be correct here. So our input string, we want to. The only thing I'm trying to remember with this one is I always forget to stop at the middle, right? Because once we've checked halfway through, we don't necessarily need to check the full thing. But my approach would be do some pseudocode where this would be let front pointer equals input string 0, right? So we've got the first, oops. And then I'll do something like let back pointer equal input string. I think I can do, again, I don't remember the exact syntax, last or end, or basically have it equal the last one, and then do a for loop, where with the for loop, I'll loop through each one and have a true false. It will return false if it for loop return false if front and back pointer don't equal each other. And then if it makes it out of that for loop without returning false, then we'll return true. I believe that should work. And in the for loop, we'll obviously increment front pointer and decrement back pointer. The only thing first of all, this check out with you seems like it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, great. The only thing I'm remembering that I've had issues with in the past is basically when these get to the middle, right, and say these ones, this should be fine, but if there is an even number of characters, I think it'll cause an issue because the middle character won't necessarily be the same. I could be wrong there, though.
I'm trying to think. If you have 2 array spots, you increment. Oh, you're good. You should be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Then I'll start coding. We'll do front pointer equals input 0, so that will. Oh, geez. I've added some VS Code setting that likes to add shortcuts. Back pointer equals in. I'm blanking on how to call the last
Like input string dot one.
string dot what?
Array bucket. The
Yeah.
bracket. Input string dot live. Input string dot live.
Input string.
Yeah. Input string dot live. There we go. And then size or live windows. I I'm not sure. I'm not JavaScript guy, but yeah, try live. Get rid of that null.
Yeah, is that what? Sorry, I don't know if I can hear what you're saying. You're saying null?
Yeah, get rid of the null.
Yeah.
And then is there a length?
Yes.
Oh.
Length.
Oh
yeah, that should work.
Cool.
Great.
And then what we're gonna do is loop through.
Yep.
So you can do a while loop or for loop. So
yeah.
you're gonna do.
I guess I could make my front pointer here.
Or you can call it I, let I equal 0.
Yeah.
While I is less than
so length plus equal 1. Right down here as well, we'll return true if it makes it out of the loop. And then within our for loop, if front pointer
not equal. So you're going to do input string bracket front pointer.
Yeah, I think front pointer. I guess I could have done. I don't actually need to set these up, right? Because I could just do.
You can have your let statements in there to reflect the position in of the string. So you can get rid of the stop ones. Yeah. So if you get rid of line 29 and then replace them with 26 and 25, you should be good to go.
Yes. Great. If front pointer does not equal back pointer, unless I'm doing this.
Let's fix something. Let's fix line 28 first, because you're gonna have a problem with it. So think about it. You have bucket spot 0, your 5 is. So we're gonna put I in there, get rid of that 0 for line 27.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna have to do a little math here. We're gonna have to say input string.length minus I. And the reason is that you want to go the other direction. You don't want to go this way. You want to go this way.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
That makes sense. Okay. Great. And then if front pointer does not equal back pointer,
we'll return false.
Return false, right?
So it reads as, it reads as if it equals, you want to say not equals.
Yeah, I thought the exclamation point in front of it would do that. I could be wrong though. I may need to put the.
Yeah, you say that. There you go.
Oh, jeez. There we go.
Okay. Is it double equals in JavaScript?
I think so. I think triple equals is what you would normally do. I think you need double equals if we're going to do not true. I could be wrong on that as well. I think this functionally works the same most of the time, but we'll technically check the type first, which can cause some issues. It shouldn't cause issues here, but I believe double equals is what we need. I could be wrong.
We're going to run into problems with that for loop too, but we can fix that later. Give it a run. Okay,
great. Let's do this node. Where are we? 15. There we go. Okay. Ooh, false, false, false. Okay. That could be this.
Yeah, just put not equals and get rid of it. JavaScript says strange that way. Not a
fan. Still false.
So add some consoles in there.
Yeah, I would check make sure back pointer is doing what we think it's doing here. Okay.
Isn't it .char at? I thought it was char at, but I could be wrong.
Where?
Go Google it. Char at .char at.
Let me check. Yeah.
Let me pull it up. Let me see if I can find it.
Yes. Char at. I've used before. It's been a while.
That's still undefined. Not very helpful. I know Python would just put the bracket there and it doesn't get enough.
Yeah. What is it without the minus I? Oh, it's still undefined. Input string dot length.
Char at. Get rid of the brackets. You don't need them. So let's go ahead and replace those. But yeah, that's what I thought. So it's put input string dot char at capital A, and then the index. So it would be input string dot length.
Minus.
Minus. There you go. And
Yeah.
then the other one, you'll have to do the same thing on line 27.
Well.
Yep.
Oh.
You can do the same thing on line 27. And then just replace it.
There we go. Okay.
Sure. Right, now we need to console in blanks.
Weird that it's not showing anything. It's consoling.
Do a console at the first line of 25, the input string.
Oh yeah.
Sure. See if that does anything. First line.
Let's see. Input string dot length. Is this?
Here, let's see if it's iterating down the array. Leave the char at there. That's right. Just do a console of the I on line 27.
Console.
Might be that length. Might have a problem. Yep, there's a length. So maybe there's an exception that's causing the thing to break. Because I don't see it iterating to the thing. So put a parentheses on length on line 26.
It'll iterate if I remove the false statement. Because I think the false was kicking it out, stopping it from iterating.
Oh, okay. Maybe add back that one double equals there. But you don't see the pointer though. You don't see the character.
Yeah, that's odd that. So I know I can.
I wonder why. Here, that's right though.
I know I can call it like this. Like this will work. Let's see, for console.logging front pointer rather than back pointer, that should give us the first letter in each one. I think it's the back one that I'm. Yeah, that'll give us R. That'll give us 1 R. It's the last one I don't remember how to call. We might be able to just call it like that. I don't know what it just spit out, but back pointer.
I think we're running in an array. That's why I thought that for you.
Oh, you think we're, sorry, what was that?
Running on the end of an array.
Yeah.
What we need to do is if so it'll be the length, which is okay.
Oh, it's saying 7. How many is in race car? 6. I think that might. Oh, that's weird, but I think 7. That's more than race car, right? We only have 6 in there. Wait, 2,
The zero,
3.
going beyond the zero position, I think.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we're calling the 7th, that's going to give us undefined, right? So we actually need.
Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, you're right. Because it's gonna use base 0 for.
Yes. So then if we go back to input string, bracket this. So that should now call 6 instead of 7, right? Back pointer should represent 6. I guess we can leave this.
Try to.
Or not.
So what I was gonna say is keep the char at.
Yes.
What we're gonna do is do the same idea, but just use the char at inside of the char at. So dot, get rid of the bracket, dot char at. Then use a parenthesis, and then try the same thing for the software also too.
For the
chat at? It looks like chat at.
Trying to pick up the code.
Chat at?
We'll get it one of these times. There we go. I can Google how to call last.
The last position should be the input string dot length minus 1, which gets you 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But the problem is you're going over that position of 0.
Do you think? Oh, whatever those brackets I just had around the 1 and the. I don't know why that. I guess that makes sense. It was doing I-1 before it was evaluating the position because I had brackets on there, which caused issues. So without those brackets, then it looks like that.
Yep, you got it. There you go.
Runs where we want it to. It's always a tricky little syntax, right?
I know. Admittedly, I'm not a JavaScript person, so I know enough to be dangerous.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So that should work. I think my only concern was if it had an off number of characters, but I think, or an even number of characters, but that should be fine for. We should also see true for that last one, right?
Yeah, the only thing that's important about this, the way we've implemented it is that we'll run past each other. We never meet the middle. So some other flag to be able to say, hey, are we at this, say, are we at the middle? And that's really hard because we have even or odd number of characters, it'll be hard to determine it.
Right. So I've done something like basically this in the past where it'll stop once it gets to the middle. But yeah, I think that's when I've run into that issue of if it was even or odd, because then it will be odd sometimes.
Yep, this works.
Cool. Any additional questions or follow up on this one?
No, not really. This was something I would ask for somebody with your level of experience.
Yeah.
And then, admittedly, we'll probably be working through the problem together. I want to see if you're going to get frustrated. I want to know if you're going to give up. I'm like, oh, I can't get it. Well, that's not. But all depends on what really your level of experience is and what you want to do with it.
Yeah, I think the ones especially recent bootcamp graduates that I tell people to work on is like the palindrome question, FizzBuzz, Fibonacci, right? Those are the ones I see very frequently, and then some version of like find a first pair of duplicates in an array, right? Like find the first pair. And those are, I think, when I was going through my initial interviews, I saw that same type of question the vast majority of the time. Once in a while you get something crazy thrown in there, but I think those were very common.
Fibonacci is really good. I've asked that one a lot, but if you have no background or recursion, it becomes a little bit harder.
Yeah, that's I realized recently I was trying to look through it and look at a recursion solution that actually made more sense to me, and I found one and I was like, oh, this is actually a lot more straightforward, and the recursion version is actually much easier to code than, actually similar to this palindrome one. It's actually a little bit easier to code than some using 2 pointers or something like that. But if you don't already have that in your head, it's hard to kind of create.
I'm not dinging you for that, because to me, it would take me a couple of minutes to think about how I would do that too.
Yeah, especially the dynamic programming side of it, right, where you use the memoization to actually make it more efficient. I think that's the part. Recursion, I can usually bang something out, but it's probably going to be less efficient in the long run because it'll run so many times if we have anything of length.
Right, and the thing about the recursion, we look at the array size immediately. So if the size is of one character, it'll just drop down, and then you do the other pieces for it. But it really depends.
Yeah, cool. Well, anything else to share with folks? Anything else to plug or to mention?
My only advice would be, just to keep coding, and network. It's all about who you know. It really is that way. Unfortunately, with the tech industry, I don't know how many times I've gotten jobs. My last 3 or 4 jobs have been because of someone I knew, and I networked and I got the job, and someone's heard about my skill set or heard about me in general, or I've met them at a conference or something like that. Yeah. So
yeah,
and just keep coding. Don't give up.
Yeah, it's a hard thing, and sometimes I think everyone has days where you feel like, I can't believe it took me so long to figure out X, Y, or Z, right? Yeah, no matter how far into your career you are, right? But I think sometimes it's worth it. You get that little nugget of like, oh, this actually worked. Right? You get through it.
I'll tell you a story. A couple days ago, I was about a week or 2 ago, I was in the nastiest code set for some code that a data scientist wrote, and I was trying to fix it. And I had broken it. And I'm like, well, this was working an hour ago, and I had my commits in Git. I was making small changes as I was going. Turns out I was off one character, and I lost 12 hours on it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and make sure you commit your changes, small changes at a time in Git, and then they'll save you every time. But the more you do it, the more you remind yourself of like what are the rules, whatever language it is, like in JavaScript, I had to look up chart. We were working through those issues. It's just being constantly reminded that, hey, there's certain patterns for certain languages that have to be implemented in a certain way, and you learn to keep up with it. But just keep coding. It's always fun. Go to the meetups if you can, if you're not COVID adverse, or even go to the ones online. Go to conferences. Present. Always present. Be presented. Even if something someone already knows, submit a paper. You never know if you get the opportunity to do that too. It's always opportunities to learn and grow.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the idea of just keep going and keep pushing, right? The only way to fail is to give up and basically say, I'm done with this, right? If you keep moving forward, at least you're making some progress. A realization I came to recently when I was working on kind of a hairy project that has been frustrating because it was an older code base, and then I've added a bunch of stuff to it, and then we went to go refactor it on top of that, and it was just kind of a week or two of just dealing with little silly bugs over and over again. And when I got to about halfway through that process was, okay, I've done this long enough to know, like, I will find the bug eventually. I will figure out how to fix this. I'll find that semicolon. I'll find the period, whatever I'm missing, I will find it. It's just a matter of time, right? So if I'm sitting here getting frustrated and freaking out and just skimming and scrolling rather than going line by line, it's going to make it worse rather than, okay, let's calm down, focus on this for a couple minutes, and I'll probably be able to find it much sooner. So realization only came after 2 weeks of yelling at the screen for 8 hours a day.
It's okay. I do the same thing. And admittedly, it's just a process. You keep going through it. You keep trying to figure out what's going to work for you, and you can solve the problem. If anybody can do it in coding, I'm a hard firm believer. There's nothing that we've done here that anyone can't do without giving enough time and energy to be able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Cornelius, thanks so much. It's been a blast having you. Anything else to share?
No. I'm just saying, like, I was excited. Great time to spend with you.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you for watching the technical interview portion of the Professional Technical Interviewee. If you want to tackle this interview question, you can find it at github.com/professional technical interviewee. New episodes are released on the first 4 Thursdays of each month. Find us on YouTube at youtube.com/Dorsett or on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on new episodes. And remember, keep practicing.